Have you ever looked back on your week and thought, what the hell did I actually get done? You worked every hour you could, but with all the fires, urgent tasks, and day-to-day chaos, you couldn't find the time to do the important work that moves your business forward, and as a result, your business hasn't moved and still depends entirely on you. Well, luckily, there's a simple system that you can use to fix this, and it takes about 5 minutes a week to use. It's the exact system that I give to my 6, 7, and 8-figure clients at selfmastery.co to help them scale in just a few hours a day. So in this video, I'm going to show you what that system is and how you can use it to guarantee your business makes progress every single week and depends less on you so it can run itself. Now, if you're like most entrepreneurs I work with, you're not lazy. You're not sitting around watching Netflix at, like 2 p.m. You're working hard all day, delegating, putting out fires, checking in with your team, updating Slack, making decisions, moving fast. And yet the business isn't really moving. It's busy. Everyone's busy. You're busy, but it's not getting better. And this is actually where most business owners get stuck. They assume this is some sort of delegation problem or team problem, or maybe it's just the season of business that you're in. But more often than not, none of those are the real problem. The real problem is that you have no system that links your long-term goals to your day-to-day execution. You want to achieve this big goal for your business, but you're not doing the work to move you toward that goal each day, or you're not sure how to fit that work in between all the fires and problems and emails. So you're left reacting to what's urgent instead of executing what's important. And really, it's like trying to build a house without a blueprint. You've got a hammer, you've got a team, you've got a pile of materials, and you're working hard, everyone is, but no one's really sure what they're building, so you end up with a few half-built rooms, a couple of crooked walls, and zero progress. That is what most businesses look like, simply because there's no connection to that place that you want to take your business, which also means you can't start to remove yourself from the business, because if you did, then the business would truly never get anywhere and it would just stay stuck. And that is why we need to start with clarity. If you want your business to run itself, it first needs direction. Okay, simple. Now, obviously, to have a direction, you need a goal, because that's all goals are. Okay, like goals are not magic. They're just you saying, this is the direction I want to go in. This is where I want to go. So the first thing you do is this. You set one clear 12-month goal. It is important that you only set one, as often you'll see a load of, not just business owners, but people in general, they'll set too many goals. So you end up spread too thin, you'll be unfocused, and you'll be less likely to achieve any of them. But you can set your goal to be longer than 12 months if you want. That's up to you. But if you set, say, a 5-year goal, you also need to break that goal down into a 12-month goal, okay? Now, when I say set one clear goal, I don't mean something vague like make more money or grow the brand. I mean a specific outcome that, if achieved, would move the company forward in a meaningful way. Now, typically, this is financial. We're business owners. You could argue the whole point of a business is to provide value to people, which it is. But, you're also trying to make money. And typically, financial goals, money is a good indicator of how much value you're providing. So often these goals are financial. There's nothing wrong with that, but it does not have to be financial. And without this target, whatever it is, you can't prioritize, you can't delegate effectively, and you sure as hell can't build a business that runs without you. Because with a goal, what you're able to do is you're able to judge the efficacy of every action and every decision and whether it moves you toward your goal or away from your goal. Therefore, you can make better decisions easier and faster. Without a goal, you just can't do that, because you haven't defined what running successfully actually means for your business. So you don't know what actions or decisions to take to move you toward that target. Now, once you've set your 12-month goal, we need to zoom in. Every quarter, you want to ask yourself, what 3 to 5 things do we need to achieve this quarter to move closer to that goal? These 3 to 5 things are your rocks for the next 90 days. Essentially, all these are strategic projects, things like it could be rebuilding your offer, installing a new sales system, hiring a client success manager, building out a KPI-driven team scorecard, or whatever it is, that essentially if you completed those projects in the next 90 days, you would be closer to achieving that 12-month goal that you set. Now, obviously, I can't tell you what those rocks should be, as it depends on what your goal is, your company, your bottlenecks, etc. So many factors. But if you are a solopreneur, you want to set 1 to 3 rocks for the company each quarter. it is then your responsibility to work on achieving those rocks over the next 90 days. As you know, you are the only one in the team, so it's all on you to achieve everything you set in the company. But if you have got a team, you can set 3 to 5 company rocks and then have each team member set 1 to 3 personal rocks that support the company's rocks, essentially things they need to work on over the next 90 days to help the company achieve the company's rocks. Now, don't worry about achieving all the rocks every quarter. Like, obviously try to achieve them all. But if you set 5 rocks and you only achieve 3, no big deal. Next quarter, only set 4 rocks and so on. So essentially what you do is every quarter you just sit down and figure out, okay, we have this goal for this year. What do we need to do over the next 90 days to move toward that goal? But that is actually where most people stop. A lot of people do this. They essentially set a big goal, then set a quarterly goal. They write down the rocks, they pat themselves in the back, and then, fucking nothing happens. Because without a step-by-step plan, even the clearest and most exciting rocks become just another vague idea that collects dust in some Notion folder that you've built. So what we want to do is break this down. For each rock, you want to list out the exact steps that are required to complete it. Literally line by line, okay? Who's doing it? When it's due? What depends on what? You want to essentially create a plan so clear that it feels like paint by bloody numbers. This is where at selfmastery.co, I get my clients to use the strategic action sheet, and I normally do keep this for clients only, but if you want to download it, the link will be in the description below. So, click it and get it and use it. All you have to do to use it is to put the rocks in the strategic action column, then write down each step for completing that rock in each row, then assign a deadline, then who is doing it, then cross them off when done. This sheet is so damn simple, but it is a fucking game changer. Everyone who I get to use it loves it because first off, it is simple, and secondly, it really keeps you focused, which a huge issue I see all the time with business owners is that they're trying to work on so many different goals or projects at once. So they're spread thin, they're distracted, they're overwhelmed, etc., etc. And so nothing gets fucking done. So the business never moves forward. This simple sheet changes that, because when you fill it out, every project is going to be listed down the left-hand side. Every step is listed in its own row. And so you work down the list, starting with the first step of the first project. And then once you do the first step, you then do the second step. You don't skip around, you don't bounce from idea to idea. You finish what's in front of you before you move on. And look, you probably have a pile of objections or excuses in your head as to why this won't work for you. Well, I'm going to tell you, they're a pile of shit. This works. It works amazingly. I've had 8-figure business owners use this. Construction companies, which are really bespoke and complex, use this. It keeps you focused, okay? And sure, it feels like you're potentially moving slower, but guess what? You actually end up moving faster, because instead of half finishing 5 projects, you actually finish projects, which makes you infinitely more progress than finishing 0. Now, there can be exceptions to moving strictly down the list and only working on one step and one project at a time. For example, if somebody else is handling step 4 and you're in step 3 and step 4 does not depend on step 3 already being done, then both can be done at the same time. Or if you're doing all of project 1, someone else is doing all of project 2, both projects can be done at once. Anyway, trust me, stay focused with this, okay? You know how every successful person ever raves about staying focused? Well, this is how you do it, okay? You work on one step of one strategic action or rock, whatever you want to call it, at a time. You don't jump around. But now here's how to make sure all of this actually happens. Every single day, you want to schedule the next step of your current rock or strategic action, again, whatever you want to call it. So every night when you're planning tomorrow, which by the way is when you should be planning your day, not in the morning with a coffee and a sense of dread. Take 5 minutes to plan your day the night before. That way you're not emotionally tied to the things you're planning to do, and you can schedule your day more objectively and therefore more effectively. And when you're doing it, what you want to do is take a look at your strategic action sheet, go to the next step of your current strategic action, like whatever that next step you have to do that isn't crossed off, and then you schedule time to do that thing tomorrow. Now, ideally, this thing, you schedule it at the start of your day before you do Slack, before you check emails, before your team starts sending you Loom videos that are somehow 17 bloody minutes long. Now, all you typically need every day is about 60 to 120 minutes, 1 to 2 hours of this. If you want to do 4 hours a day on your strategic actions, do it, but do at least 60 minutes. And guess what? You can find 60 minutes to do this. Every single business owner can. You might need to make some changes, sure, but that's fine. It's worth it, because if you do this, you're going to be working on something every single day that actively moves your business forward, that actively improves your bloody business. You're no longer working and not making progress. You're no longer working just to work. You are making progress and you're prioritizing it. And when you do it first in the day, you get it done, you get dusted, you get it out of the way, so you don't have to worry about something throwing you off your schedule and stopping you from doing it later in the day. And you feel bloody great because you've just got a massive win under your belt super early in the day because you've done that most important thing you have to do to actually move the business forward. And if you've got a team, have them do the exact same thing as you here, okay? You have them set rocks for them to help you achieve the company rocks, break them down into strategic actions steps, and then schedule them every day. Like, imagine a company where every single person, including you, spends 60 to 90 minutes each morning moving the most important project forward that's actually going to create progress in the business. That's how you bloody win. Okay, that is how you win, because instead of spending 8, 10, 12 hours a day working, but working in the business, working on maintaining it, on running it, on not doing anything that actually grows it, you're actually working on things that grow it. Okay, because so many business owners act shocked when their business is not progressing or moving forward, when they're not spending any time on the things that move the business forward. This is how you win. You simply, it's so obvious once you know it, right? You set a goal. You break it down into the exact steps. You schedule each step each day. You spend 60 to 90 minutes, if not more, on doing that step every single day. That compounds over time, and all of a sudden you're completing them projects, you're achieving your goals, your business is growing, your business is moving forward. That is how you bloody win, because once you do this, you can then remove yourself from the business so that it runs without you. Which, if you do want my help to do that, there'll be a link in the description below. Click it, I'll help you out. But when your business runs without you, everyone is still moving the business forward, and the business still makes progress because of how you've set up your goals and your team execution system regarding rocks and goals, etc. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Ross, I've got fires to put out, emails to reply to, team members who need answers, and all these different excuses. That's fine. You're a business owner. Sure, you do. We all do. Here's the truth. The business will not collapse if you leave your inbox alone for 90 minutes. Your clients won't fucking rage quit because you didn't respond at 7:43 a.m. And that quick question from your operations manager, it'll be fine at 11 a.m. Because here's the thing, right? You cannot complain that your business still depends entirely on you if you never make the time to fix the systems and make it dependent on you. You cannot whine about being stuck in the business if you never carve out time to work on the business. And this system, it is the most simple, most effective way I know to bridge that gap, to take your vision for the business and hardwire it into your calendar, your team, and your daily execution so that you can work on the things that move the business forward. I've used this with everyone from solopreneurs doing $250,000 a year to founders doing 8 figures a year. And every time, the results are the same. There's less chaos, there's more progress, and eventually a business that runs without you. Now, of course, for this to work, you have to learn how to delegate properly so that your team can actually work on the things that move the business forward. So if you want the easiest system for delegation that actually works, click this video on screen now and I'll show you it.